Hello and welcome. Today, we have several interesting stories, including one about a lady who found out she's pregnant for her ex weeks after he dumped her and she doesn't know if to tell him or not. Am I the idiot for not paying for my daughter's wedding when I said I would before? I, 56M, used to say to my daughters, 30F and 32F, that I would pay for their wedding when the time came. A few things happened that made me change my mind, and now I am being called an idiot. First off, I finally started dating my now wife Claire, 34F, and we decided to get married after 8 months together in 2022. This might seem soon, but we've known each other a long time. Both my daughters disapproved of my marriage and refused to come to my wedding because they had not met her. This was their choice because they disapproved of the age gap, and because I texted them that I was getting married 6 weeks before the date. They said they should have been the first to know. I thought not showing up was super disrespectful and I distanced myself from them. Second of all, my daughter's fiancé never asked for my blessing or anything like that, and I was told that my wife is not invited at the wedding so that we don't upset my ex-wife, their mom. Both my daughters have been annoyed at me for marrying Claire, for not spending enough time with them at Christmas. They are in their 30s, they are not children. And for not seeing them on weekends, but still they expect me to pay for their wedding? I am not planning on giving them anything. Claire is on my side, but some of my family is calling me an idiot and saying I should do it. Am I the idiot? The top replies,
I'm half hesitant to say you are the idiot because I'm a firm believer that it's your money, you choose how to spend it. But with that said, you're such a gargantuan ass that I'd be remiss for not explaining why. I know, you do you, but you are marrying a woman the same age as both your daughters. You expect that to just be cool with them.
You've given them no time to adjust. Second of all, my daughter's fiancé never asked for my blessing. Welcome to the 21st century, my dude. You distanced yourself from them. Why would the fiancé feel the need to get the blessing of a dad actively distancing himself from the fiancé's future wife? For not spending enough time with them at Christmas. They are in their 30s, they are not children, bro. They are your daughters. Regardless of anything, they want you to be their dad and involved in their lives. They love you. They want to be around you. God knows why. After reading this, and you're upset by this, and I cannot stress this enough, be a damn man of your word. You have told them throughout their lives that you would pay for their weddings. Unless you have a genuine gripe that isn't, I'm mad my kids don't like me marrying my arm candy that I paid handsomely for, you should consider that your word is your goddamn bond. Have you no integrity? Second reply, you are the idiot. You married someone just 2 years older than your oldest daughter, which is creepy. And them not being notified until 6 weeks before the wedding is fair of them to react to. And what? You want your daughter's fiancé to ask for her hand in marriage? Is she your property? I'd be pretty upset with you if you were my father too. The third reply,
you are the idiot. We've known each other a long time. Is she one of your daughter's friends?
Did you dump their mother for her?
You didn't tell them in person you were marrying someone of their age.
You texted it 6 weeks before? You expect their fiancés to ask you permission to marry them? Is it 1955? All of this tells me exactly what you think women are worth. The least you could do is fulfill the promise you made. Unless it will make your new daughter wife angry that it might affect her allowance? Edit. My own father got one of those mail order wives. Same age as my youngest brother. Told us by sending an invitation to the wedding, which was 3 months after he met her. Joked that my brother's wife was older than his. We haven't spoken to him in 25 years now. Even after she divorced him and took him to the cleaners.
Second story.
I, 29F, found out I'm pregnant with my ex's, 28M, baby. Am I obligated to tell him? My ex-boyfriend abruptly dumped me the day after my grandfather died about a month ago. It was cruel, and one of the worst things anyone has ever done to me. We have not spoken since. That brings me to this week. I've been having morning sickness every day, my boobs are tender and I was cramping weeks out from my period. I take 3 tests today and sure enough, I'm pregnant. Clearblue had me at the maximum read of 3+ weeks. Based on my cycle, this would have happened the week before New Year's Eve, while we were still together. I have already decided I will be getting an abortion, it wasn't even up for debate. Beyond the plethora of emotions, shock being the most dominant, I'm confused at what information I owe to my ex. Part of me does not want to break no contact. Having him in my life is too anxiety-inducing, and I don't owe him this information. I'm having the abortion either way and I do not need or want his emotional support. If anything, I feel like he's a stranger. But then there's this other part of me that thinks I should tell him.
Not sure if that's coming from a place of, he deserves to know, or, I have to live through this, so he has to at least live with knowing that this happened.
I think I'm salty that I have to go through this and have it be a piece of our relationship, while he gets to go on with his life, not knowing the trauma our irresponsibility caused. Above all that, I'm beyond terrified. This is my worst nightmare come alive. I'm so lucky to have extremely supportive family and friends who love me unconditionally. But this is still a big deal to me, and something I never thought would happen to me. I am pro-choice, always have been. I also have to live with this for the rest of my life. Would you want to know? Would you tell your ex? Thanks for your thoughtful replies in advance. The top replies. I went through something extremely similar. The emotional impact of trying to process how is this happening cannot be understated. So I feel you there and I'm really sorry you're going through it. In my case, I told my ex. My sole reasoning for telling him was that I was shocked and upset and angry and I didn't see why I should be the only one feeling that way. Maybe not the most mature reasoning, but it was how I felt and I have no regrets about it. He did drive me nuts trying to be emotionally supportive when I didn't want or need his support. And we are definitely not on better terms now. I completely blocked him once it was all over. I wound up having an early miscarriage, which was a relief, otherwise he would have tried to insert himself further into things. Point is, I know how you're feeling and it sucks. But you need to focus on you. You don't owe him anything. It's your body, your choice. If you want to tell him because it's not fair that you're the only one going through this, then I don't think that's wrong. But be warned, he could push back or try and guilt you. Hang in there. Second reply. You have no obligation to tell him, especially if your main motivation to do so is to hurt his feelings. I totally understand the petty desire to do that, don't get me wrong.
But your energies will be better spent looking toward the future, getting through the procedure, and moving on with your life, instead of looking back and dwelling on the past.
If you needed money or logistical support to get the abortion, or if you weren't totally sure if you wanted to have one, then it would make sense to reach out.
But if you don't, skip it and just move on.
Third story. My husband and his mother disregarded my urgency that our 2-month-old needed to go to the ER. On Saturday night, I woke up and my 2-month-old was burning up with fever. I took his forehead temperature and it was 102. I panicked a little, and immediately give him Tylenol and Google, 2-month-old with 102 temperature. Everything says, call doctor or go to ER for temp over 100 for infant under 3 months. This is an emergency. Apparently babies under 3 months can't regulate their body temperature and that's dangerous. I wake up husband after rocking baby back to sleep and making sure his fever has gone down with meds. I tell him if baby's fever doesn't stay down with Tylenol we need to go to ER. Our vehicle is in the shop, I don't have family nearby so we need his mom to take us. He goes back to sleep, I can't and stay up monitoring baby. His fever is back up after 3 hours. I wake husband up again and tell him we need to go.
He calls. No answer.
Finally reach mom at 9. She works in home care overnight so wouldn't be here until 10 a.m. He gets up, playing Xbox and texting mother-in-law. Time goes by, 11 a.m. nothing. I keep asking where she is. He doesn't know, hasn't heard since earlier.
I ask him to call. Maybe she fell asleep because she works so late.
She finally shows up after 1 p.m. I start rushing to get baby in the car, not paying attention to anyone else. Not noticing mother-in-law in full church gear. Spend 4+ hours in with crying, pooping out of diaper baby. He has a UTI. Was probably hurting every time he peed. Go to get prescription filled and he's on his phone.
Says to mother-in-law we're rushing because he knows she wanted to go back to church.
Still doesn't click until tonight. I'm thinking about how husband kinda had an attitude with me until he realized baby was really sick. Go back to church, pops in my head again. Then I realize. Mother-in-law went to church that morning while I was waiting to take baby to and he played video games because they both thought I was overreacting. They let my baby suffer and possibly put him in danger because they didn't take me seriously. I'm furious and I can't sleep and so pissed. Update/edit for clarification. Yikes, the internet really doesn't sleep. Thanks for all the genuinely encouraging and thoughtful responses. Baby is doing so much better. I haven't spoken to husband yet. He works very early. We'll talk when he gets home, he'll do better. He's not an awful parent and neither am I despite all you internet jackals who just love to be nasty. He made a bad judgment call, he didn't listen to me and made decisions about our child without me. This is not okay but we will fix it. He will do better. We're not getting a divorce. I get most of you have good intentions but when you marry someone you work through mistakes. You don't throw the whole husband away even when he has his head up his ass in a dangerous way. Baby wasn't crying until we got to the and his fever went down quickly with Tylenol so husband incorrectly assumed baby was fine. Our pediatrician has told us before treat a fever with Tylenol and wait 24 hours. It had only been 4 hours since the start of his fever. We've never had a child get sick this young so we both made mistakes. By the way, internet doctors, Tylenol is a pain reliever and a fever reducer used to treat fever which is a symptom. I never said it was treating his UTI that I didn't know existed until we went to the doctor. Any medicine administered is a treatment to those getting hung up on that word. Again, I get it, y'all think I should have called an ambulance. Although I initially agree, if I called an ambulance every time a child scared me being sick I'd be so far in debt I'd have to sell a kidney or two. I thought help was on the way because I was continuously misled. If I don't delete this post to silence all the ugly commenters I'll update once husband and I talk. Thanks for all the advice. Any judgments you can stick where the rectal thermometer goes. Update 2. Okay, some of you have some real anger issues. To the coward who sent me a DM just to call me a crap mother after nothing but nasty comments, eat a Snickers, you're not yourself. If you are yourself, get a better self. To the kind paramedic who messaged me to let me know I'm not a crap parent and what to actually call an ambulance for, thank you. To the person who thought my update was funny, thank you for seeing the sassy humor in there when everyone else seemed so pissed that I had the audacity to clap back. I'm running on about 2 hours of sleep so I can't function enough to answer everyone. To everyone pissed, I still defend my husband, he did a really messy thing, he knows it. I'm not excusing it, however, that's my best friend. I didn't get married to him on a whim. We've been through a lot and he's been there for me through the worst. As the name of the subreddit suggests, I came here to get something off my chest. Not to decide the fate of my marriage. He's remorseful, he's aware his priorities were not in the right place. He's aware his head was so far up his colon he could see his breakfast. He's very sorry, not just to me but to his son. He's not off the hook, he's got to show me he'll do better. So to all the nasty comments, I'd like to quote a great man, Jeffrey Lebowski. That's just, like, your opinion, man. I know I'm not a messy mom. I held my baby and checked his temperature every few minutes and didn't put him down until it was in his car seat to leave. I held him while he had a chest x-ray, while he had his nose and throat swabbed, while they gave him antibiotics, while he had diarrhea so bad it came out of his diaper. I've had barely any sleep from worrying and caring for him. My arms hurt from holding him because I love him with all my heart and didn't want to put him down when he just wanted his mommy. Again, thank you for all the kindness. I hope even you angry, rude, nasty and judgmental people have a great day and that someone loves and forgives you even in your darkest hour, like I would my husband. The top replies. About a year ago my baby started to develop a weird rash. Everyone told me, even my mom initially until she saw my baby, said I was overreacting. I demanded we go to the doctor anyway. She went into anaphylaxis. Rash was hives. DRs. Said had I waited 5 more minutes she would not be here. Her throat closed in ambulance on way to hospital from PED's office. Epinephrine saved her at less than a year old. Spent days in the hospital. Always follow your gut. My husband apologized and acknowledged how if he had been home and not me that she'd be dead. My mother-in-law has never admitted or apologized for the same. Edit. The comments in response have honestly helped remind me that I can trust myself. I knew I did the right thing for my baby, but the prolonged periods of dismissal left a lot of damage that's remained even since my PPA has subsided.
Thank you for helping to remind me that I am capable and rationale, that my concerns are valid and deserve to be heard.
I'm actually tearing up writing this. Thank you all. Seriously. You are all so kind. Your words have meant more to me than I can express. I wish all of you happiness, assurance and validation to you from others, that you all have given me today.